In a nutshell, tunataka tu tupatie the picture in this meeting today.
No, this is an obvious meeting. We do this often. I was in Parliament last Parliament, and we did this where we meet mid-term to evaluate what we've done so far, to project what we are supposed to do in the next cycle of our legislative duties. So it's usually a very basic thing, and the only difference is that at least for this time we've also cut costs owing to the hard economic times. We didn't fly to Mombasa. We decided to do it closer. In last Parliament, of a similar event, we went to Mombasa, and we held such a meeting from there. So it is basically a re-evaluation, or rather an evaluation meeting and a projection meeting for the next half of this very particular term, and to also remind ourselves that, you know, the tick is still clocking very fast towards the next election. Such privileges are fast diminishing, so one needs also to work very hard to make sure that they look at their re-elections again, even as they do their legislative duties.
What do you expect the outcome?
The outcome is a more vibrant team, because coming to the last cycle, like in athletics, when you're doing the last lap of, within the track, you will add more energy, because you actually knows that you are probably going to do something that you really hold dear into your heart. For the last time, you do it the best way you know how. What I believe is that this very cycle of this term will be more effective, will be more vibrant, and it will create, people will be having a lot of energy to exercise, or rather to do their obligation as members of Parliament. And you will see a lot of legislations being going through the last cycle again, up to assenting, because those are the strategies that you are laying on the table. And also looking at our mistakes and where we ought to correct, you know, even as we get to this very last cycle of our legislative duty. That is the main thing.
The legality of CDF.
Of course, we've discussed. I am one of the lawyers in the case. There is no illegality of the CDF. There was an order, and it has been reviewed over the same. So we've shared with the members on the status of the CDF judgment. But I also invite you to read through the ruling that was made by the Court of Appeal today, that also defined or brought clarity on the judgment that was made by the judges of the High Court, that people thought that the entire act has been rendered unconstitutional, which is far from the truth, because today the Court of Appeal has clarified to that effect properly when we appeared before them this morning. And Justice Ngoge pronounced himself very well alongside his colleagues that even as we come to the realization of what the judges said sometime last year about the particular clause, it didn't really render the entire act mute, as has been reported previously. And we were also lucky to get a closer hearing date in the next quarter to hear all the facts, because there is a misconception and misunderstanding in this particular bill, in this act per se, because people think this money is placed in some members' accounts and then they decide on how to do it, and they decide on development and everything. This is a decentralized fund. It's not really a development fund. It's a national government decentralization fund. And that is the line we are focusing on. But going into the future, we hope that such funds will be entrenched in the Constitution someday. We hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.